Eric DeCosta hitting him with it's a simple math commentary is always a good way to look at whether or not you would take a quarterback in the first round when you have a guy, kind of, a little bit. Still not sure what's happening there. Do you guys believe the Ravens' first-round quarterback prospect is a real deal?
Yeah, let me set some context for this whole thing. So the Ravens every year do this pre-draft press conference. It's a tradition, unlike any other. It is a tradition that they always do, and it's regardless of the year, regardless of the roster. They go out there, and immediately the questions start coming with Lamar, Lamar, Lamar. And the public relations team is like, no, we're not talking about Lamar. We're talking about the draft. And you saw Harbaugh's face there as like, I just answered last week. I answered an hour's worth of Lamar questions. I'm here in a pretty nice looking suit, and I'm being asked to talk about Lamar. That was Harbaugh's face. I mean, that's the look he gave.
Sheesh.
And it's not at the reporter. I think the whole situation is just so bizarre. And he was just playing it
like a. Not going anywhere for a while. It's one of those. Or it's like the curb music has to play over it. You know, that is a look.
Hungry?
That is really good.
And it's not one of anger. It's one of I feel like Harbs is just like look. I don't know. Like I'm in the same boat that you're in. I think this is another piece of the chessboard. And if the Ravens were to take a quarterback in the first round, which I don't think is unlikely. I said it on Monday when I came on the show. I'm like, that's the ultimate clap back at these negotiations. I don't know what leverage Lamar Jackson would have at all with the Baltimore Ravens. I think that would completely nullify Lamar Jackson's leverage because we've already now spent a first-round pick and are going to have 4 years on a rookie contract with a quarterback that we took in the first round. You can't have both those guys on the same roster, especially if one is looking for $200 million in a contract. I absolutely think they could take a quarterback. The question is, would they trade up for a quarterback? And then you're talking about, all right, we're giving up first-round picks. We're moving up in the draft. We might be giving up different draft capital later on. The Ravens only have 5 picks, I want to say, in this draft. They don't have a ton. They have some needs on this roster. They have a 22nd overall pick. This gets interesting, not if the Ravens meet with a quarterback, not if the Ravens talk about it in a press conference. This gets interesting on draft night if we have not reached a situation with Lamar where he has agreed to play on the franchise tag, and the Baltimore Ravens, at about 8:38 p.m. Eastern, while the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock, we get the ding-a-ling. A trade is in, and Rich Eisen and Daniel Jeremiah are doing the
And it changes from the Cardinals logo to the Ravens logo.
So
It's so exciting.
It happens.
I know.
It happens every year. And I remember when I was watching the draft a couple years back with you, Kyle, in Chicago, I want to say, and the Bills are on the clock, and ding-a-ding, the Chiefs logo showed up, and it was Patrick Mahomes, and that marked the end of Alex Smith's time in Kansas City, ultimately. This gets interesting if they actually have the courage to move up. I don't think any of the top 4 quarterbacks are going to be sitting there at 22, and that includes Will Levis, that includes Richardson, and, of course, Stroud and Young. Could they take a quarterback? Absolutely. Do they have the gumption to move up in the draft to go get one? If they do, that's the end of Lamar. That is it. That's their move. That's their chess piece, and they're not looking to negotiate after the fact. He could sit there for 1 year on a franchise tag for $32 million. But we got our guy. We just took one in the first freaking round.
Peter, play a hypothetical for me. Let's say the ding-a-ling happens and the trade involves sending Lamar somewhere for them to move up. Does that the first round picks that the Ravens received, does that happen then this year?
It would have to be a very complex sign and trade deal because he's currently got the franchise tag on him, and it would have to be the other team agrees to already make the trade, agree to a contract with Lamar, and then that's 2 rounds, 2023 and 2024 for Lamar. Yeah, Jamie, it would be this year's first round pick as well.
That would be so many little logos changing all at one time. It would be like Wheel of Fortune letters like spinning around.
Yeah, and that's the most interesting thing to me because to your point, they could draft a quarterback at 22, but that's not fun. I think, to your point, they move up in the draft and get somebody, and now you said trading Lamar. But the thing is, if I'm going to trade for him, I'm a team, we need to have a contract worked out because if I'm sending first-round draft picks to the Baltimore Ravens, I don't want Lamar for 1 year on a franchise tag who then he becomes a free agent and has the opportunity to sign elsewhere. So then it comes back down to, all right, what is it going to take to get Lamar to sign a long-term contract? So if I'm any other team that says, hey, we would love to have Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens are now willing to trade him, where is that, and who is he willing to sign with, and what kind of deal does that look like?
Can I give a quick example? Last year, A.J. Brown trade, Howie Roseman talks about it. The trade was one thing. We got that trade done. They had to negotiate a contract with the agent before that, in the 15 minutes that they were on the clock, and they came, they're like, here's a number. And the agent, who I believe was Tory Dandy, was A.J. Brown, it was like, We need more. Okay, well, he's negotiating a trade while waiting to make the trade.
But that's a fraction of the money.
A fraction of the money.
And it's like
and you're dealing with an agent who's working the deal.
You're calling Lamar and his voicemail box is full. You know, it's.
Yeah, but what if you call Lamar and say we matched Deshaun Watson's deal? I mean, don't you think that would get it done?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's a very fast phone call.
That could happen right now. That could happen.
Yeah, I was about to say that might have happened already if you were willing to do that. So, I look at it as, all right, they make the trade, they move up, they get a quarterback. They're not able to trade Lamar. He's now on this roster, on the franchise for 1 year. Is that an uncomfortable situation for whoever they draft, they move up to 3 or whatever the case may be? Lamar could make it hell for this rookie quarterback or for the organization while he's still there for a single year. Do they rescind the franchise tag and allow him to be a free agent? Like, that to me is why this is so interesting. Of course, the Baltimore Ravens are serious about drafting a quarterback in the first round. They have to. They don't know what the future is going to be with the quarterback that they now have franchise tagged. He hasn't signed it, so they have no idea. We saw that with Josh Norman years back, where Carolina franchised him, then they went back and they rescinded it. He ends up signing with goes into Washington. So that's what I'm kind of interested in. Saying all of this, and sometime Lamar becomes an unrestricted free agent. And that would get really interesting to see who would be calling.
It's already there. It's not that he's going to make it hell. He already has made it hell. I sat down this morning before the show and watched this entire press conference. It was unbelievable. I have to really lay out the context. So DeCosta sits down in this dignified setting, the Ravens logo, and this, we're very excited for the draft. Anytime you have an opportunity to add players, and we've always done well in the past, and we're very excited, very excited, very excited. Questions about the draft. First question. Yeah. Okay, so it's been a week since Lamar has said he wants to trade. Have you talked to him? What has he said? You know, I've talked about that 5 times recently, and I think we're just going to stick to the draft. The next question, the guy plays ball. Yeah, you guys have the 22nd pick, blah, 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 defense. The next question, with respect to the draft, kind of affects what you're going to do with Lamar. What's the deal? And it's so awkward. And DeCosta, I think, was rock solid. And the Harbaugh shot's hilarious. But, I think those guys are in hell psychologically. And I don't mean they're suffering. I just mean they're like, God, this is terrible. This is terrible. We love Lamar. We want him to be our quarterback so badly. And we have gotten all our blood, sweat, and tears for so long to do it. So, when we started talking about the draft, and we just had a conversation with Lamar a week ago, and we went nowhere. It's the same conversation we've had for 2 years. Yeah, it's appealing. And yes, we're meeting. And if we have to trade up to it, we're always movers and shakers in the draft. Yeah. We are not one of these teams that just stands pat and takes our player. He keeps saying over and over, we love picks. We want to get more picks. I don't know. They make it really frisky and decide, I think we're out. We did everything we possibly could do as an organization to bring him in for the betterment of our organization. We can't. I think it's all real at this point. And the draft's a few weeks away. I think it's real. I do.
Kyle, last week you put a call out to Lamar, just tell us what you want, and then we can better understand what the holdup is.
We're all operating under this thing that Lamar wants a fully guaranteed contract. Lamar wants Deshaun Watson money. He's never said that, and no one has said that. We just assume that.
Yes, exactly. So everyone has a tipping point in any football scenario, life scenario, really. I think Lamar hit his, I'm convinced, last August when this thing did not get done. And whatever he does want, and I'm not going to put conjecture out there as to the guaranteed money, the amount, whatever. It's just he wanted this all signed, sealed, and delivered. And so he put a timestamp on it for the conversations to be done in September. That time came and went. Then he got hurt, unfortunately, and then people are speculating about his willingness to come back and play hurt. All of this started to damage Lamar Jackson's image, I think, unfairly so. So I think he has hit his tipping point. My curiosity is, what is Eric DeCosta's tipping point? What's John Harbaugh's tipping point? To your point, Kyle, everyone keeps saying we love him 100%, 200%. When does that word love and Lamar Jackson as a whole just become, we really love how he plays, but we do not want to deal with this anymore? And there becomes a very big elephant in the room of, we do not want to deal with this anymore, whatever the deal with it may be. The contract, just Lamar walking back in the building, because there is a very real sight and sound to Lamar Jackson opening the door in Owings Mills and coming back into that building. Does somebody hug him? Do you shake his hand? Do you say, what's up? Good to see you. Long time no talk. How does that go, really? I'm curious to the nature of the building about this man once he does, if the deal ever does get done. I think everyone has a tipping point. I'm really curious if the draft is the seesaw the Ravens kind of sit on right now.
Part of it also is to them, and I would imagine, we gave you many contract offers.
Yes.
They weren't enough. They could give you generational wealth. It wasn't enough. Even if you show up and we have this awkwardness, you're still making $32 million next year for a year, and then you can go ball out, and then we'll see where we're at. I look at that franchise and your point with Lamar looming, and it's like, if you're one of these draft prospects and you're looking at Houston and you're looking at Indianapolis and you're looking at these other rebuilding situations, are you dying to go to the Ravens, or is that one where you're like, I don't want to deal with all that? That seems like it's a lot of drama with Lamar looming and lingering if he's on the roster still. I don't know if some of these players are saying that's the last place I want to go, or oh wait, that's a playoff contender right away. Once I get there, they insert me just like I can do it. I know what I can do, and we can go and win.
Yeah, and then you get into all the skill set, how the offense is based around him, and are you running behind Patrick Ricard if you're not a runner like Lamar?
New offensive coordinator could be completely different.
Could be different, maybe. Free agents, though, it's like, all right, am I going there? If Lamar's going to be there, if I'm a free agent, I feel like we have a chance to win. If Lamar's not, and it's a rookie quarterback, it's like, is that what I want to do? I think as a rookie, it's a really good roster.
Oh, the options are endless.
Culture.